Hi there, how we doing? We're back on the 67 Hail Hail channel with a rather croaky Hamish Carton. John McGinley with me again. John, just like last week, this isn't going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's another bad day for Celtic, and a bad week. It's difficult to put our finger on what's going wrong in the team, or with individuals in the team. There's a lot to be said about certain individuals. I think the biggest takeaway for me of the match is just that change is needed at Celtic, and I think that comes from three ways. It either comes from the manager, implementing change in his team and the structure of his team and how we play. It comes from the players working under the manager, or it comes from decisions above the manager that effectively gets rid of the manager. For me, the first two just aren't. There's no evidence of the first two at the moment, and this isn't actually about the last three games. Though as bad as that is, I believe it's the first time since the 90s since we lost three games in a row within 90 minutes. And it's not just about the last week; it's about the whole season so far.
We didn't lose today, of course.
No. Sorry, I'm talking nonsense. Hamish. That's what it feels like. I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah, no, I know.
Come in, because I think for me, Lennon has to go.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that. What are you feeling about that?
I can see you're struggling, and I'm struggling as well. We don't want to sit here and say that Neil Lennon should go, because it's not what we want to be doing as fans, but it's hard to argue against it at the moment. The way that team's playing, the fact that today was such a big game and they got into a winning position somehow and they still found a way not to win that match when it mattered so much. And I don't know about you, but there was a sense of inevitability about us conceding the equaliser in that game.
Yeah, and I took my own legs away from under me there with that daft loss thing. But yeah. I think my big point is that we badly need something to change at Celtic, and it's not coming from the two groups that you would expect it to. So where does it come from? And I actually did see improvement in certain aspects of the team today. I thought the team selection was a little bit more ambitious. I thought the structure of the team in the first half looked good, even though we weren't creating anything. I enjoyed what I was seeing of Tom Rogic, who is still my Celtic hero. And I think that to kind of dig ourselves out of the hole after half-time, you've got to give credit to the players for that. But the concentration and the application in the last 10 minutes again is just so frustrating to watch. And for me, Neil Lennon just is cutting a lone figure on the touchline. Even when we were scoring those goals, he wasn't going crazy. It wasn't the passionate, happy Neil Lennon that we've seen even in a second spell at the club. And I know that he's toned down a lot over the years. But you still, remember when we beat Dundee at Dens Park, he's running down the touchline. His first game when he came in against Hearts, he was obviously ecstatic with the last minute winner. But today I just didn't see much of that fight from the manager. And you've got to ask why. It feels like there's things going wrong here, and it's not just about the last three games, the draw and those two defeats. It's about the whole season so far, and it's only going in one direction.
Yeah, that's the worrying thing. For me, you'll probably have people saying that the league's over and kind of stuff like that. And for me, the league isn't by any means over. I think I've kind of lost the maths, but I think we're around 5 points behind probably at the end of today, something like that, maybe it's 6. For me, we can still claw that back. We're only in October and there's a long, long way to go. For me, we can claw it back, but the major question, and to be honest, it's no longer a question, it's now an answer. For me, Neil Lennon isn't the guy who's going to do that for us. And it absolutely pains me to say it. We've dealt with the issue on this channel in recent videos, but we've kind of been, neither of us has really, or David has really wanted to say the final comment that this team isn't going to turn it around under Neil Lennon, but I think we've both reached that point now. And as I thought they were better at points today, and I thought they showed a real bit of desire in the second half. We should be sitting here talking about a brilliant Celtic comeback, and we should have been, if we'd have held on and for the last minute or whatever it was when they scored, we should be going, that's what champions are made of, that's the kind of game we win, this team will kick on now. There was still major problems there, and we wouldn't shy away from that, but the fact the team would have won that game. But just for me, the way they conceded that final goal, it was just calamitous stuff, and I'm just really, really struggling. At the moment, there's no way to sugarcoat it, and for me, we need change. I know we've got loads of questions of who would come in, how long would they take, would they need new players, all that kind of thing. And I know that they've backed Neil Lennon with £15 million, £20 million in the summer, something like that, 15 I think. But for me, the change has to be made, because otherwise we are going to chuck away 10 in a row, and the league's going to be gone before we know it. I mean, see, when you look at our next fixtures, we go to Fir Park soon, we go to Easter Road after the international break. We won't win either of those games playing like that.
No. I mean, we've got to go to France on Thursday in the middle of this bloody global pandemic, which just worries me because, things are kicking off in France as they are here. And then, we've got to play Leo, who are a good League One team. Then we've got to play Aberdeen at Hampden, which I feel like, we're talking about Neil Lennon should go, but it feels like that game has the potential to be a breaking point, because I actually don't think the club are going to sack Neil Lennon today or tomorrow.
No,
it's not going to happen.
What has to happen? I know you mentioned the Hampden game. In your mind, what has to happen for Neil Lennon to be let go, sacked?
If we lose the next two games.
So you think if we lost in midweek and we beat Aberdeen at Hampden, things would just kind of roll on? No, but if you think if we won that game, things would roll on?
Probably, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on at the club, but you have to remember Neil Lennon is Peter Lawwell's man. Peter Lawwell put his neck on the line by bringing him back to the club, and I don't think he's probably not going to give up on him so easily. But there's lots of factors at play here. You don't actually also know what's going on behind the scenes in terms of how the players feel about the manager and how the manager feels about the players. That stuff that's left to speculation and social media speculation. There'll be a lot of that. I'm already seeing comments. Lennon's lost the dressing room, everything. The players don't want to play for him. I'm not sure I quite buy into that aspect of it. You did see a bit of fight in that second half, but I just think he's not really sure how to get the best out of these players at the moment. And you can bring in all sorts of factors, the lack of crowds, anything you want, but they're all excuses, and they all paper over the cracks of what we're seeing on the pitch. And it's that we have no clear identity of how to break down teams. We just don't seem to be able to do it. And yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Hamish, that's another difficult video on YouTube. It's been a week of this now, and we're just getting pellers from all over the place. But that's what goes with the territory when your team loses. When your team loses or drops points in these matches, it's difficult.
Right, well, we are finding it difficult, so we'll get the help of some Celtic fans out there. Archie Neal saying, no shape, devoid of tactics, Frimpong contributes nothing, Duffy is a duffer. When you see a player like McGregor giving away free kicks, you realise how bad this team is. Michael Fitzsimmons, I'd rather just go out of Europe early and concentrate in the league. We are not good enough right now. Duffy reminds me of Boyata at times. We could... 100%, I think that's harsh. We could sit here and look at individual performances. We could go through Duffy. El Yunusi was getting a lot of criticism. For me, these aren't bad players, but they're not performing at the moment.
It's not constructive to do that, I don't think. It's obvious what the problem. It's obvious. Duffy had another howler. Had another terrible game. He's had a nightmare week. There's just no getting around it, but I don't think it's constructive for anyone. It's just indulgent of us to sit here and slag him off, and I'm not really prepared to do that. I'm just concerned. It's concern I have, and a little dash of anger too. And do you think Lennon has the answers? You've already kind of said that you don't.
No,
think so.
I don't.
What do you think the breaking point is?
what do I think it is, or what do I actually think will happen? Because for me, the breaking point should be now, and I know people will look at the league table and they'll say you're only, maybe 3 points behind with, or 6 with a game in hand or whatever it is. And I know they'll say, we've only played one game of the Europa League and he won all those trophies and we've got a semi-final to look forward to. But I know when the wheels are coming off something. I've seen it before. I've seen it with Mowbray's team. I saw it with Dyla's team, and I'm afraid to say I'm seeing it again, big style. I'm just lost for words.
It's a feeling inside you. Like at half time today, I just had that horrible feeling in my stomach that's just only comes when something has to happen that you don't want to happen, or you've come to a conclusion in your head and you're trying to trick yourself that it might not be what's needed. I've been really hesitant to say that Neil Lennon has to go, and I really hoped that the team could turn around and win in the second half. I know a draw isn't the end of the world in terms of our title ambitions, but as I said, it's not just about today, it's not just about last week, it's just about the pattern of what we've seen so far this season. If you think back even to the St Johnstone game before the international break, absolute get out of jail free card that day, that could easily have been a draw again, and we could be in an even worse position at the moment.
Dundee United.
Yeah, again, Ayete bailed us out. So this is a tricky, difficult time, and it's not easy for the club. I'm not saying it's an easy decision to say to Neil Lennon, a former captain, a manager who's won multiple trophies, who came back to bail us out after the Brendan Rodgers debacle. I love Neil Lennon. I've said this multiple times, but it's just at some point you've got to find it within yourself to make a difficult decision. It's really difficult for me to say that I don't want him to be our manager, but that's genuinely how I feel right now. And I think I came to that realisation probably through the week. I wasn't feeling like that right after the Rangers game, and then at the first half against Milan, and then what I saw today. And it's just the drop points. It's just we're in the end days now. It feels like, it does feel like a Mowbray situation where we're kind of letting things get away from us here. And I would rather that the club are proactive with it rather than reactive. But as we know from everything that's happened in the past over the last 20 years, Celtic are often reactive.
Definitely. Boheed Bob, 0-3 at Kilmarnock, I believed. I didn't feel that today. Jack Curran asking, Griffiths scores goals, why won't Lennon play him for 90 minutes? Griffiths did what Griffiths does when he came on, a brilliant finish. But the concerning thing you touched on earlier, and I could not believe it while I was jumping around my living room and we went 3-2 up. Why is Neil Lennon sitting, staring ahead, doing nothing? And I'm actually asking you, why is he doing that? Is he trying to prove a point that he's not happy with the performance, or is he just like a beaten man?
He's maybe fizzing, Hamish. He's maybe angry. And I would be angry with those players as well. And again, it's not about individuals. It's collectively as a team. For much of that first half, we didn't look like we were able to break Aberdeen down. Obviously, we got a little bits of magic in the second half. And again, it was Rogic and McGregor. You not find it interesting though that it's kind of the old guard that are showing up for us. It's Griffiths, McGregor, Rogic. It's not anyone new coming into the club. It's not El Yunusi, certainly, and it just feels like those are the players that know how to beat opposition in the Scottish Premiership. And I don't think some of the players in the team have learned how to do that yet, or at least don't have the mentality or the belief to do that. And again, unfortunately, that comes around to the manager.
As I said earlier, for me, the league is still retrievable. We're not 10 or 15 points behind in February here. That lot will drop points, and we have proven in the past we can go on a run. But for that to happen, for me, we need fresh, ideas. And as you said, it can come in a few ways. It can come from a couple of players. You can introduce, a David Turnbull to the team, and he can bring everyone's mood up. It can come from Edouard coming back, but thinking about it, I think it has to be something more substantial than that. And as I said at the start, it pains us both to say it. We would love nothing more than Neil Lennon to step up, and the team to step up, and him to guide us to 10 in a row and leave Celtic Park as an absolute legend. But It doesn't look like it at the moment, but there's a long way to go for me. There's a long way to go in terms of the league, but we need a change. We need some change because this can't go on.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know from the viewers, and not just in the live chat, but in the comments after the video gets archived in the upload section. I'd love to know if anyone thinks we're overreacting about Neil Lennon. And I'd love to hear, and this isn't sarcastic, I would love to hear why you still have belief in this coaching team and why you still have belief in this current project at Celtic. Is there any ideas that I'm missing here? Because I just can't see an answer in the direction it's going. So if you've got comments to that effect, I would love to see them. We do read every comment. We've been getting loads and hundreds of comments actually after each video just now. So please feel free to say that we're wrong and that Neil Lennon is actually the man who's going to dig us out of this. My gut feeling is that he's not, and we need to see what happens now.
Just finally, John, going into Leland Thursday night, is Neil Lennon still in charge?
Yeah, he probably is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, thanks very much. We'll finish with Jim Wright's comment. Poor game management by the players in injury time, especially after playing poor and getting in front. As I say that, there was a feeling of inevitability for me that Aberdeen were going to score an equaliser. I just couldn't believe it. We'll leave it there, John.
It felt like a loss, didn't it? That's why I was going on that bloody tangent, because that's how I felt after that game. But that's what it is.
Maybe we'll do a happy review one day, maybe. John, thanks very much.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for watching this, and if you're watching on demand afterwards, we appreciate that as well. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we would really appreciate that. We're back with Jackie McNamara tomorrow. It'll be interesting to hear what he's got to say and what happened. Until then, take care and hail hail.